afternoon, man.
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. It's Wednesday. It's podcast night, so it's always a wonderful night to be here, to be alive and well, and ready
Absolutely.
to speak and to have another great guest. Had pretty good
hmm
weather over
Yep.
here in the Chicken Fried Nation.
Doing
Um,
alive and well. I agree, man. Hey, I'm gonna tell you how well I'm doing. Did you see my post on Facebook? I think it was from yesterday. The coffee ordeal.
yeah, of
I got it.
course.
I got. I got to tell that story real quick. So because I mean, obviously not everybody read my post, but it's just one of those incredible things that happen on the day to day. But I was in Arlington last week, and I was out there, my daughter and I were out there, and while we were out there, she really got me hooked in this iced coffee from McDonald's.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know those well from my daughters.
yeah, usually I haven't been a big fan, but that one really made me a fan. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yesterday, I was out and about. I started craving one, and
Mm-hmm.
so me from the place I was at, I was doing some business with some clients, and after that, I got the urge. So then I drove. I want to say now that it was just some random restaurant that I drove into
Yeah.
because what happened was I went to the drive-through.
Yeah.
I got and the lady asked, how can we help you? And then I
Right.
said, well, let me have a medium-sized vanilla iced coffee.
Right.
Then there was like 30 seconds of silence. She was like, I'm sorry, sir, we don't have that. We don't serve that, but we do offer a delicious chocolate, blah, blah, blah.
Of course you do.
So then, I turned around, sure enough, I was at a Wendy's. I wasn't at a McDonald's.
Yeah. Yeah. This is getting better by the minute.
Yep. So, needless to say, I absolutely went to the wrong fast food restaurant, and I still tried the coffee though, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's my story, man. That's how it's
Well,
going.
I don't know if you saw my comment, but I'll raise you a ordering the wrong coffee at the wrong place and ordering a coffee. And I'm not into the what I call the
Right.
Rolex stuff.
The Rolex stuff.
A simple black coffee from the drip is fine. And order, pay, and then drive home.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll get to wherever I'm going, usually work. And then I said, I bought a coffee, and it's not with me, so it's probably sitting, or it's some lady. It's
Yep.
usually the same lady at my McDonald's in the morning. She probably saw me drive away and
Somebody
decided to
has
tell
it.
the story.
Oh man. Well, I was glad to see
In
though.
fact, number no, I'm sorry. Our number one comment is from Aitana, who is from the great city of Corpus Christi, saying paying for the coffee and leaving. She
and
knows
leaving
she knows the
hashtag.
story. Hey, I don't want to get too much into this fiasco, but the last two times I did it even worse. Maybe I'll even raise it more. I went to our machine, put the little Keurig thing in, started it. Everything was great, but guess what was missing?
The cup.
The cup. So it dripped. Thankfully, it has a catch thing, but I have done
Oh
that
man.
twice now.
That's horrible. That's just horrible. Oh man. Well, with that, I mean, I think it's a great way to start this wonderful
Absolutely.
Wednesday
If we
podcast.
can't laugh at each other, then we can't laugh at us. So,
Exactly.
um,
I mean, I
anyway,
think
yeah,
we
let's
do
get it
have
going.
just a great guest today, but let's get us going, brother.
Yeah. So my name is Javier, and with that, we're your problems.
And my name is Jorge in Opportunities.
Folks, thank you so much for those of you who watch every week. We really tried hard to not only be here on Wednesday, not because we're anything special, but because we really believe in the message we're bringing every week. A while back, someone told us when we both decided to launch into the world of business and self-employment that there was a lot of opportunities from problems. And because I hadn't had a lot of problems until then, I really didn't believe it. It took a while for that message to resonate, but it did, and it has. And so last year, almost close to the year, we decided to. Well, we had been thinking of the show, and we decided that's what we were going to call it because that's the message we wanted to bring. And boy, we've had this is episode 35. We were real lucky to have be in the same room last week. That was really cool. I know we'll do that again. But then today we have a really great guest who's definitely going to tell us about the opportunity she's found from several problems in her life. I'm excited to be here and to get this going. So tell us who we have tonight.
Absolutely, guys, and for all our viewers, I wanna say that almost with every inspiring story, there's a not so inspiring beginning. And this is exactly I want to say what makes these stories so very, very special and important. And our guest tonight is no different, right? I would like to introduce to you guys our guest this evening, which is Valerie Galvan, who's I wanna introduce her as an El Paso rising entrepreneur in our real estate profession here locally. If we can bring our guest tonight, Valerie, how you doing tonight?
Hi, you guys. How you
How
guys
are you?
doing?
Good to see
I'm doing
you.
well. Good to see you guys. You guys look so handsome.
Thank you very much, Valerie. I know I was just mentioning that you're a rising star here in the local area with real estate professionals. You're a mom. You do full time real estate. But I'm not going to steal your thunder. I want to give you the opportunity to talk to our viewers about that journey. You sent us a bio and we read it, and I want you to because nobody can describe it or say it better than you do. So let's start right there, Valerie. Tell us about your journey, how it started, where it began, and where you are now.
Ooh, well, it's been a long journey. Obviously, it's been a blessing. Everything happens for a reason, and now I understand those difficulties, why it happened, because it's made me a stronger and a more determined person. Whew, so my mom, she was a single mom, and I do have a brother and a sister, but they moved out when I was probably 8, 9 years old. And I was raised, and I hung around with the wrong people. I was easily influenced since I didn't have an authority figure to correct me. And because of that, I fell in a path of rebelliousness at such a young age that my mom lost control and was really close to giving me to the state. We went to court. She spoke to the judge and told him, I can't. She's out of control. I've tried everything. And I was I was gonna become a drug addict, or I would have ended up in jail, or I would have probably been dead. Um, I tried crack cocaine when I was 12 years old, and I have an 11-year-old that I see her, and I'm so blessed that she is a good kid. And I see her, and I think about it like, what was I thinking? Why was I in such a bad path? And well, the judge, he was like, you know what, this is a really big decision. If you do give up your rights, she will not. It's a facility where they take the juveniles, and at the age of 18, that's when you're on your own, figure out life. And he gave my mom a choice. He's like, if you really want to go with it, come back the next day. My mom didn't. She gave me another chance. And you would think that it would have opened up my eyes and maybe try to straighten out and listen to her. It was way worse. I was running away. I wouldn't come back for days, and it caught up. It really did. I got in trouble with the law at age 13. I went to juvie and straight to boot camp, and I was in there for 9 months, and it was tough. It was really, really tough. It's honestly like when you see in the Maury show, they line up the juvenile kids and big old Marine officers. They just on your face and they yell at you and they break you down. And I was in there for 9 months, and I should have only done 5 months, but that's how bad I was. I just had so much attitude, and nobody could tell me anything. And it was so bad. And well, I got out. I was on the monitor. I cut the monitor, and I got caught again. And that's when the judge was like, you know what, we're sending you to Austin, Texas. And I was out there for a few months until finally got off probation. And this is a silly story, a crazy story. I was I believe, 15 years old, and I hitchhiked from Austin to San Antonio, and from San Antonio all the way to El Paso.
Oh
15 years
my.
old.
Oh my gosh, that's a long way.
Oh my God. And I reflect on it. I'm like, what was I thinking?
Right.
And literally on the highway, I-10 with my thumbs up. And I got to El Paso safe and sound. Thank God. God was watching me.
Hmm.
And I got to El Paso, and same thing. I was just on a wrong path. And at age 16, I got pregnant. I had my first child. Obviously, my baby daddy was in jail, so I had to find a way. And I started selling drugs, trying to put a roof over my head. And then that girl, which is my friend now, um, she kicked me out, and it was just bad. And it's just been a rough road. And at age 19, pregnant with the same guy. I don't know what happened. What did happen? I guess we broke up. I didn't have a place to stay. I was still out of control. My mom she didn't want to help me out. She couldn't help me out. I couldn't help out myself. So she was not able to help myself. And then from there, 19 years old, I lived in a shelter here on Sumac, and what's that other street? It's for women. And then they transfer you to Stevens in Central El Paso.
Okay.
And I was there for another 3 months. And from there, I had a friend. I used to work as a waitress at Jaguars. And then I started dancing, and I did that for 6 years, the longest career of my life. And I did that for 6 years. I did travel a lot, and thank God I didn't fall in a deeper tunnel, because there's a
Hmm.
lot of drugs in there. There's a lot of
Right.
drugs. I am glad I didn't come out as a drug addict, or I didn't become a drug addict. I guess
Right.
I controlled that.
Yeah.
At least I was able to control that. And there one night there was this gentleman, and he was a white man. Not trying to discriminate, but he was a white man surrounded by a lot of Mexicans. And
Hmm.
right away I knew he was the boss. And I went up to him. I was sober. I was drinking water. In order to be in that area and to be on top of your game, you had to be sober. If you wanted to make money, you had to be sober. So that night I was determined. I had a goal in mind. And I spoke to him, and he's like, "What are you drinking?" I'm like, "No, nothing, just water." He's like, he took out $100 and gave them to me. Well, obviously I stayed there longer. And I'm like, "What is this for?" He's like, "You know what? I see your focus. I see you're a hustler, and here you go." I'm like, "Okay, thank you." And I started talking to him. "Well, so tell me, I see you're the boss. What do you do?" He's like, "Well, I own real estate. He fixes and flips properties." And he was taking out his employees, his contractors out. And while talking to him, he had a little blue bracelet. It said, "Success is your duty." And he took it off and gave it to me. He's like, "Here you go. Look into him." And I was like, "What is this?" He's like, "Just look into him." That's how I made my millions. And I put it on. And that same night, I Googled his name, Grant Cardone, and it was all about real estate, motivation, the right mindset. Let's start there. You need to have the right mindset. And that was it. That's all I needed. That seed was planted,
Yeah.
and it was my job to water it. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what
Mhm.
I did. After that, there was this obsession that grew from it. And one day I decided to, you know what, I'm done sipping the Kool-Aid. I'm going to dive in the Kool-Aid. I stopped dancing, and I just had one plan A. I didn't have a plan B or plan
Hmm.
C, just one plan, and I had to stick to it. And that's what I did. And 33 days later, I got my first deal. And since then, it's changed. I found my purpose.
And Val, just so the viewers can understand that ending a little better, we're gonna take a bigger dive right now in a minute. But can you
Mhm.
just tell our viewers what that means? Where are you at now? Tell us about your company.
Okay, so I just started and I went hard. I really did. I hired mentors. I paid for the shortcut. I watched a lot of YouTubes. I read a lot of books. I watched a lot of podcasts. I dived in. Like, I was obsessed. I had to learn this recipe. I had to put it into practice no matter how many times I failed. I had to. The action behind it is what'll you'll find a way as long as you keep implementing action. And well, now I have a wholesaling company here in El Paso. I am a licensed agent. It is not my bread and butter, but I do have agents under me, and I strictly focus on wholesaling. I have two acquisitions, one transactional coordinator, one disposition manager, two real estate agents in house, and I have four VAs,
Okay.
virtual assistant.
Okay,
Right.
I was gonna say,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And Val, I started real estate in 2017, and that you started in 2018, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So I do remember when you started with Summers Realty, I believe it was, and when you started, I am going to tell you because you're all over social media, and you still are, and you really put yourself out there. If anybody wants to know what Val is doing every day, you just got to look at her TikTok, you got to look at her Instagram, stuff like that. And then like yesterday, like I knew you were in Dallas, you went to like a networking event and stuff like that, but you're not afraid to put yourself out there so that people understand and know what you're doing every day.
Mhm.
But when you first, the point I wanted to make is when you first started, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I would see you like just kind of like all over the place, right? Like a kid trying to figure out like where the best gift under the Christmas
Mhm.
tree was, right? And I'm and I
Exactly.
and I'm and I mean that as a compliment. Like I'm not trying to tell you
Mhm.
that you weren't doing well, but because when you first start, you kind of stay away a little bit, especially in this industry, right? And you just kind of watch and you look at you get mentorship from more tenured agents in the city and stuff like that. But anyways, I did. I was like, man, it caught my attention because you were still trying to find your niche, right? Like you were doing this, you're doing
Mhm.
that, you're going here, you're going that, and but now here we are, and you've got your company when you just started in 2018. So that's great.
Mhm.
Valerie, one thing that caught my attention was when you became obsessed with the idea of real estate when it was introduced to you, and I guess that was a turning point from what was going on in your life then to I guess you saw an opportunity. Would you call it? Would you call that the moment that you saw the opportunity to really, really establish yourself and look in, as you say, you just became obsessed with the idea.
Yes. So my recommendation to people that don't know where to start is look into a proven roadmap where there's proven mentors and where there's proven success. Unless you're Elon Musk and try to take people to Mars, and until he accomplishes it, until he accomplishes it, then somebody else, now there's a proven roadmap, then somebody else will do it. But for right now, starting a business, look into something that captivates you and then look for it on YouTube or Google. There's so many resources out there. And then just see every successful person leaves a trail. All you have to do is just copy them. Copy your way to success, I would say. Copy and
Yeah,
paste.
yeah. I like to say myself that a lot of the ideas that supposedly I have are just really stolen or borrowed. Borrowed is a better
Exactly.
word from
Yeah.
people that have been there who have done it. I mean, this podcast is one of them. I spent hours and hours watching and listening to podcasts, asking,
Mhm.
understanding the technology, understanding, what was going to fit and what message we wanted to bring. Couple of things. How many? I assume you read a lot of books about real estate. You attend a lot of conferences.
Yes, as many as I can, honestly. And in 2019, I only read one book. But last year, I'm very proud of myself. I read 31 books, audiobooks mainly, but I submerged myself, and it really has changed my mindset a lot. I make quicker decisions, but I analyze it, and as soon as I evaluate it, I'm able to take actions right
Mm,
away. But because of the knowledge, what I've learned from other people.
right. And I had a question. What percentage of your real estate do you? I mean, so not exact numbers, but do you invest a big percentage of what you make back into the company just to keep it growing?
Yes, absolutely. And in the beginning, you have to. To be honest, this first quarter in March, we've hit a quarter of a million, and it's a huge win for me. It
Wow.
really is. Yes. And I'm very blessed, very grateful. But to me, I am still broke because all my money, I put it back into the business, into faster systems, into the team, into marketing. I am in the phase where I am still planting and watering. And yes, I see harvest, but it's still not harvest season for me. Not
Right.
yet. It's all about planting.
Val, how many mentors have you gained along the way? How many would you say?
So I have 5 right now at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, and absolutely. And the reason why I asked you that question, and a lot of these questions, is so that we want to place that understanding out there that a lot of these things you can't do them on your own, right? First off, second off, if you want to get bigger, you need a team. How big is your team now, Val?
Ooh, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then myself 11.
Right, right. And I see that I see him going at it. By the way, I really love your culture. That's one of the things that you always upload in your Facebook page. And it's all I see you guys first. I think I saw you and some of you
Isabel.
running like at 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning. That's one thing I saw. And then I saw you guys. You guys do a lot of like praying and just kind of getting a feel for the day and and stuff like that. And then you highly celebrate the deals that you have. You let it know. You give away little gifts and prizes in your office. So what kind of culture would you say you strive for?
And I would say an empowering culture. It's all about empowering your teammates here. Yes, we focus on sales, but we mainly focus on mindset. And then the sales come with it. It's 80% psychology and 20% skills. So we really emphasize a lot of growth, I would
Okay.
say.
Okay. Okay, Val, and then I know your company does a little bit of everything, right? In real estate, it branches off to a lot of things, right? And I know you've tried several things, but the one thing you like focusing on, and you started mentioning at the beginning of the podcast, is wholesaling. I
Mhm.
want to say there's a lot of viewers that really don't understand that. I know my brother, he wants to learn about it. So can you tell us what exactly that means and how you help customers?
Yes. So we like helping families, and then obviously we help them solve their problems, and we get paid for solving problems. Wholesales is mainly helping people that are in a distressed situation and need money fast. So, for example, a foreclosure. Let's say the house is worth 100,000. This person owes 40,000 on their mortgage, and they're gonna lose it in 3 weeks next month. And they reach out to me. They're like, "Hey, I need help." So we help them for a cash offer. Let's say we would give them 50,000, but 10,000 to them, 40,000 to the mortgage. So now I have it under contract for 50,000. Me and the seller, correct?
Right. Hmm.
Okay.
I then look for cash buyers that are actually, that's their cup of tea. They want to fix it, flip it, rent it out, whatever they want to do. The numbers have to make sense. Then I would sell it to them for 60,000. So the investor and I, we put it under contract. You're gonna purchase this person's house for 60,000. Let's put it under contract. I then take those two documents, the agreements. I take them to the title officer, and what he does, he pretty much 60 minus 50, and I'm the middle person. I make 10,000. I put the deals together. I structure it. I find the seller and I find the buyer, and that person gets their mortgage paid off, and obviously their credit doesn't get affected, and they're able to walk out with 10, 20, doesn't matter, 10, 20, 30,000 in their pocket, as opposed to their credit being affected, them getting kicked out by a constable the next day. Hey, you got to get your stuff, you got to get out, and with no money in their hand.
Would you say, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, did you see more of this last year, especially? I hope not, but we were all. I mean, everything was different for everybody.
Yeah, I would say the wave of foreclosures has not happened, but it will happen real soon. But there was a lot of opportunities. A lot of people were scared. A lot of people were affected, and even if the numbers didn't make sense, we were able to create a structure where they don't lose their home, at least.
I was going to say, because I think a lot of homeowners out there, when they're facing difficult situations, they don't really understand what to do other than foreclose on their house. I think there's a very high percentage of clients that can work out any deal, especially when you don't have a job or you have some sort of family mishap. It's very tough. So I think what you do in relation to helping clients from that regard is really, really good. I mean, in all honesty, what's your competition, Valerie, here in El Paso? Did you have strong competition?
I don't know where they're at if I do have competition, but yeah. even if I did, the sun shines on everybody. There is deals. There's families that need to be helped, and I'd rather team up with other people than see it as a competition.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, because sometimes we get greedy with things. In the insurance world, we say that a lot. Well, the good agents, we always say that there's plenty, of business for everyone, instead of, fighting over little things. Let's just focus and help each other out. So I do agree with that 100%.
Yes. But it's been a blessing. It really, really is a blessing. Even if we're not able to stop the foreclosure, because it does happen. It does happen. We're at least able to help them find a home, at least a rental. Anything we can, we'll go ahead, and it doesn't hurt to help them find a home.
Right. Well, and you solve the main problem, which is that a property just doesn't go into foreclosure. Because I've seen that even in my neighborhood. We've seen it at least twice, and it is pretty sad when things are outside in the front yard, and then you wonder where those people went, and and what's next. Especially if the house is close to us. We've been in our house for going on 16 years, so I do see the benefit in what you're able to do for people. It's kind of a salvation for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. It's a good industry.
Yeah. Valerie, during our podcast, we like to, you told us about your story and how you had that turning point. You found success, and that's great. We like to kind of come to the end and crystallize one or two things from our conversation. I see the posters behind you. A lot of I don't know if you're in your office, but I have some. Those are important to have reminders around your workspace that you come in and see, exactly why you're doing it. So if you had to crystallize one or two things for people that are watching, maybe people that need a turning point or want a turning point, what would those be for success?
I would say you need to find. There's two important events that happen in your life: when you are born and when you find your purpose. When you find your purpose, you're unstoppable. Nobody could stop you. The alarm clock doesn't wake you up. your motivation, your hunger for greatness, it wakes you up and it will not let you sleep. And I would say for myself, I bet it on myself. I rather bet on me than bet on a 9 to 5. And I think that was I put all my poker chips on myself.
Right.
I couldn't lose. I didn't have an option. Like I said, I didn't have an option. I couldn't lose. I have 3 kids. And even when I had my baby, I was still door knocking. I had no excuse. There's kids in Malaysia that have no arms, no legs, but yet they're still finding a way, going through garbage, picking up cans and recycling them just to feed their disabled parents, or there's so much going on, and those kids have no choice, but yet they don't make an excuse. And here in America, I feel people make an excuse, and that's one thing that needs to stop. Is you need to make a decision to stop making excuses and just go for it. There's no plan B, there's no plan C. Burn the bridges and the boats and just go for it. That would be my best advice.
Yeah, and you know what, Valerie? I mean, I know you mentioned it a lot of times, and of course, we hear this as well from Uncle G from Cardone. But failure is not an option, right? When you're looking when you're going through a lot of these things, and one of the things that I do want to comment on is especially last year and still this year, right? That we're still under a pandemic. I did see that a lot of people didn't take action until they had to, right? So like not until life puts you in that situation where you're like, well, there's no other plan, and I can't, I can't fail, so I just have to do this. And I think if anything, I do like your message about, do that even if when you're not going through some sort of hardship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so growth happens when you step out of your comfort zone. A lot of people are comfortable. A lot of people think tomorrow will come, and you cannot take time for granted. Right now, time is not on my side, and I'm against time right now, and I have a plan. I always say commit first and figure out the rest later. Just commit to it,
Hmm.
figure out the rest later.
Yeah.
You'll find a way.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's been great, and listening to you, there's just a lot of things we all, well, you and I and our peers here in El Paso. I mean, we obviously in under the same industry, and like I said, I've always seen you, all your social media. You're always booming, and you got great energy, and I really love your team, love your culture. You and I already did one deal once, and it went great, exactly how you explained it. And I'm looking forward to many more deals with you and your team, and just helping clients out there. But Valerie, I do want to thank you so much for being with us tonight. I know you literally went from a plane to your desk to this podcast. You were out in Dallas, correct?
Yes, I just arrived not too long ago. I came here and I got ready. I did my makeup, and I was like, it's grind time. I'm here. Like I said, time is not on my side, and you just got to do it.
Yeah, we all wish we had, 48 hours and 24 hours, right?
Exactly. And even if people had 48 hours and 24 hours, they would still be comfortable. So the majority of people would still be like more comfortable.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Did we
Okay.
lose you?
No, we're still here.
Okay.
All right. So Valerie, again, we want to thank you so much for being with us tonight. The best of luck to you. I know, I'll see you around the city, the community, and it was a big pleasure talking to you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you again, Valerie, if you can hear us. And as always, thank our audience for spending this time with us, and listening again to the opportunities we can find from problems. So, with that, for my brother Jorge, this is Problems.
And for my brother Javier, and opportunities. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you, Valerie.